happy to do that.
Good evening, Gearheads. Welcome to your Sunday night with Speed City. We're live from Austin, Texas, and we are ready to talk motorsports. This is John Massengale. I'm sitting in the studio with Jonathan Green and Les Kaiser. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Howdy doody.
Doing great. Good week of good news.
Man, we had so much crazy good news, and we get to start right off the top and talk about that.
We got one point of bad news, Well, Jonathan, I didn't tell you, but the Porsche we got for Jonathan.
For his birthday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on a ship?
Yeah. It's on the boat, but the boat's on fire.
Yeah,
I did hear about that bad news.
I did actually ask for the sort of soot-colored seats. So that I got.
I think
can
you got
tick
it.
that box.
If you like soot, you're going to like this one.
And the
You're going to like the hot
And I didn't get air conditioning, but
system.
now it's free, it seems. And it's just a chassis with soot.
If it's any consolation, there's a little over 1,100 people that are in the same situation waiting on their Porsche.
That's a horror
It is
story.
a travesty.
Well, hey,
And
boys, we
Bentley.
got to get to it because we got a guest holding. We have a fantastic show. We are about to welcome Bobby Epstein to the show, but we're also going to talk about the tweet that Mario Andretti dropped on Friday that just about blew up the internet.
I didn't know Mario drops microphones.
Well,
in Twitter.
He did on that tweet. But so we're going to talk a lot about that, and we're going to talk about the F1 team launches. We're going to talk a little Daytona 500, talk about NASCAR coming to COTA. Lots to talk about, but we are going to start with introducing our first guest because Bobby Epstein, the founding partner of Circuit of the Americas, has some fantastic news that they shared this week, and we are excited to have him back on the show. Bobby, welcome back to Speed City.
Thanks, guys. Sounds like you got a lot. You do have a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, no kidding. But first and foremost, let's get to your news. Tell us how you frame this news, because I found the wording odd, but you tell us.
Really? What was odd about the word?
I didn't like the word extension because it's not an extension, and I didn't like the word inclusive because I didn't know what it meant.
There you go.
So there you go.
I only know what the contract said. I don't know what the announcement said. What the contract says is we got 5 more years.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
Plain
all that
and
really
simple.
matters.
Plain and simple. Well, congratulations. That is absolutely fantastic news. And I think that is, I know that your team put a heck of a show on, but I think I think the fans, brought you over the line. If there was ever any, question mark, there wasn't ever in our minds, but you must have been so thrilled. I haven't spoken to you really since the event, but to look out there and also to get the figures back on Monday morning, I mean, hats off, pandemic and all, and what's gone on for you and your team for the last 2 years. That must have been a huge relief.
Well, you're absolutely right, though. It's because of the last event when you saw that turnout, and F1 saw it. And in fact, they hadn't been outside the paddock since the pandemic began, and they went ahead and saw that Lone Star Land barbecue area and said, can we block that off and take everybody out of the paddock for a barbecue? We haven't gotten together the whole year. And they came out, and then they saw those crowds. And
that's cool.
And that welcome, and they just said, we're not, this isn't going away. And so absolutely the fans did it. And, you guys have helped all along and supported, and I'm sure everybody that listens to this show was a big part of both helping us and helping the sport grow in this country as it's clearly doing.
Well, I remember, Bobby, on Friday, I stepped out of the media center and looked at the crowd on Friday and went, holy mackerel, this weekend is going to be massive, because Friday looked like a normal Sunday, so we knew it was happening. But yeah, and Bobby, was it nice to negotiate a contract with that in your back pocket and all the incredible numbers on ESPN and all our radio numbers, the national radios are all up. So was that nice to walk in knowing all that?
It was certainly, it was great. I mean, we knew we were going to continue. It was just a matter of the route we got there. And one of the reasons really that things took until they did was, Chase Carey had been running the business, and in fairness and to them, he didn't want to negotiate a contract that he wasn't going to be able to see through. And so he waited till Stefano got in and let him then make his own deals. And that's why I think you'll see a flurry of activity, and you've seen several deals announced, was simply that the people that were going to be in the seats for many years, they should be given the chance to negotiate and make their own agreements. And so that's why probably things didn't happen sooner.
Oh, that's awesome. That answered a question I was asked the other day about why it took so long. Great explanation. Well, Bobby, I got to ask, we've seen a variety of models for new contracts come out from the Ecclestone era to current. Can you give us some insight what your model is like, the revenue, or is it fee-based, that kind of thing?
I promise there's a fee base to it.
But are you all right? Put it another way. Are you not as happy that you didn't get? I mean, I see now that Liberty obviously you've got lots of options. Everybody now jumping up and down to get a Grand Prix. But would you want it of a longer contract, or is that sort of Liberty saying, we might be kind of having to swap around certain events in Germany and the US, and we're still looking at Vegas? And I mean, I don't know. Was that part of the process that instead of 9 years or 10 years like you had before? It was Liberty saying, you know what, we've got so many choices, let's do 5 and we can review it after that.
I think we all agreed we were aiming for 5. I mean, that was what we wanted to do, and I think they were happy to have that, and hopefully I hope they have lots of options because things are going so well for them, but realistically, there's not another permanent circuit that they're going to find in the U.S. that fits their needs. So we had some strength from that standpoint, and from the fans showing up the way they did, and all the support we've had. And I have to tell you, everybody within F1 that we dealt with, the first thing anybody would say when we came in the room was, "We want this to keep going. You've got a great thing there, and we don't want to do anything to damage that." And they said that constantly. I mean, they recognize, they think it worked out. And to the people that have been there since we started, more than a decade, and there's been a lot of turnover on their end. Anybody who's been there that long knows what we've gone through, knows the journey was not easy, and is pulling for us. I really feel like we have some good support there. So 5 years is fine.
John's mantra on the show since we started back in 2012 has been, we got the track, we need the driver, we need the team. And quite frankly, the announcement that Mario put out that you saw on Friday is music to everyone's ears, because it's great to have Haas, but we know that if Michael Andretti, that is, comes in with Andretti Autosport, there's going to be an American fanfare to it, and we believe that Colton Herta is going to be tied to that, i.e. that was what he was hoping to do with Alfa Romeo, and it didn't fall through, and that's why he put this announcement out now. It didn't fall through because of financial circumstances, but that's, again, another fill-up for you and your team, is that news to the future is going to be big news for America.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. we all absolutely hope so. And it was a bit of a surprise, but we've known they've had interest there. I think that was never a secret. And what this says is, I think there'll be other teams that enter, because it's been a while since F1 teams could actually make money as an F1 team. And that's what this shows, is really the health of the sport right now.
Speaking of money, the sponsors have been pouring into Formula One from the United States specifically. So, Bobby, did you invite the gentleman, the CEO of Oracle out to the circuit after you heard his announcement of $500 million sponsorship of the Red Bull Formula One team?
My sponsorship guy's phone definitely rang. I'm not, all right.
I think, as one of the commentators there, I think we should start talking about naming some of those corners. We've got the Big Red, but I mean Oracle, Del Dip. I don't know. I mean, but you've got to be happy also that the timing for Austin, with the tech influence that has happened over the last 2 years. I'm an Austin business journal, and I get a bit mad because they don't mention the economic value that you guys bring as much as they do with people like Elon Musk and others, and Oracle and so on. I think it's got to change. I mean, those guys are now going to be, Oracle are now going to say, hey, come and see, our sponsorship. They're going to be doing that, and I'm sure they're going to be getting suites and stuff. I mean, are you noticing, just being around Austin, more interest from the tech companies?
Yeah, the more interest is not just the tech companies, but it's a lot of the population that came here that has had success in the tech world or have moved their companies here. I think it's happened very quickly, and I don't know if I would not have noticed if I weren't sitting where I was, in the sense of the amount of inquiry we have from corporate groups and high net worth individuals that just want to have special experiences around Formula One. It's been incredible. I mean, we knew Austin was a great place, and that's why we wanted to have the track here, and we believed in where we lived, and other people have figured it out, and we're all better for it.
Thinking back, Bobby, 10 years ago, the first response was, why Austin? And then people started explaining it. You guys look like visionaries now looking back because nobody really had put it all together and thought about it that way. So you guys look like geniuses now.
I don't know about that, but I think hopefully I hope we look at like when people look at coming here, that we're one of the reasons that they look at Austin and say there's some great things to do there and some fun events, and it's a place I want to be a part of.
Bobby, I know that over the years you've always looked at the complex, the acres that you've got as being other potential. And that's a smart move because you can't have a Formula One race every week or a MotoGP. But it was great to see today a rugby advert on local TV for the rugby team. I've seen ads for Bold and obviously for MotoGP and NASCAR during the 500. Have you got plans, more expansive plans? I also read about the bike academy coming here, in support of the American Moto2 team. So what is your vision, if you like, for something bigger than just the motor racing? Because the complex can do more, can't it?
Well, it can, Jonathan. And yesterday was exactly what you're talking about. I mean, as the campus grows, we had Super Lap with hundreds of people. I think they had 300,000 people they streamed that to over the course of the day yesterday. And so the track was packed. At the same time, you had the rugby game that evening, and you had a music festival with 8,000 or 9,000 people going on out in the parking lot F area, with 4 stages. And that was all just yesterday. And so we've really got to continue to look at what we can do at the campus and program it out. And it does have it has the platform of the track and the notoriety of Formula One and MotoGP and those great events, but it's what we do with the rest of it that's going to really matter in the long run for us. And we've tried to make it an entertainment destination. I mean, the amphitheater was not an afterthought. That was right off the bat. Yeah. Our hope is we build out these car condos and people that really get a sense of community there, and we can build things that go along with that, whether that's a technology center or brand delivery centers or certainly a driver's club or a car driving club at the track will be something coming in the not too distant future, which I think is something that we've known people wanted for a long time. And we intend to put an amusement park out there and a hotel and maybe a water park one day. And we just got to build it out and make it a place that people want to go and make memories and have a great time, because that's what we're there for.
I love it. And that was one of the things I remember early days. There was even mention of a museum out in front of where the amphitheater is, kind of across in that other lot. And that's what I think is, by the time everything that you have on the radar for the next 5 and 10 years, it's going to be the coolest destination around for just about any interest you have. And that's what I love, whether it's music, motorsports, go out and watch the rugby. Gosh, last night, did you see the rugby game last night? Stomped Utah. But anyway, sorry, not to digress.
Well, Bobby, we're not going to keep you much longer. I know you guys got NASCAR coming up March 25th and 27th. You guys getting ready for that?
Absolutely. It looked like Daytona had some exciting racing.
Yeah.
And you got a guy named Austin that wins, so it can't be all bad.
Yeah, good on it. Yeah. That was a good race, and I like the new car, and I like the way NASCAR's going. I like their new initiative. They've got a new female initiative that they're bringing some girls through. That's good. We've got the W Series coming here, and Miami, and Mexico. I do feel the diversity in motorsport is really taking, Steve Phelps is doing a heck of a job. Obviously, Dominicali now has put his stamp on approval for Formula One. MotoGP's coming back. You've resurfaced it. Congratulations on Mr. Panis. I think that's exciting, for business development for you guys. I mean, I know that it's nonstop for you, but I do feel like it's a kind of a new era for the whole shebang.
I agree. It was a rough ride, but now things are really moving in the right direction, and I think there's a lot more good to come. So we're finally, hopefully, over a hump and head in the right direction and make it fun for people to come out.
Well, Bobby, thanks for coming on. We're going to let you go. I know it's your Sunday night and all that. So thank you. Appreciate it. And congratulations
Thanks.
again on the 5-year deal.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks,
bet.
Bobby.
All right. See you soon.
Love it. Those are answers. I think it answered a lot of questions we've been
Yeah.
looking for.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get a break in real quick. You're listening to Speed City live from Austin, Texas. Back after these messages with lots more motorsport talk.
Hi, this is Mario Andretti, and this is Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
All right, welcome back. We are going to talk a little Andretti Formula One team here in just a minute, but we got a caller. We got Mike from Chattanooga. Hey, Mike, how's it going, buddy?
I love the show.
Hey. Is this Corvette, Mike? It must be, right?
Well, I'm in a four-wheeler, so I cannot use that banner.
Is that because you lit a ship on fire or what?
Have you got a fire extinguisher for your Corvettes?
No. I finished in Brunswick Port and Jacksonville Port, and then my big truck gave up, and they said maybe 3 weeks, and that's, to get in. You're in line
Oh,
to get
wow.
in the shop.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's a real struggle out here right now with maintenance for large vehicles. There's too many on the road. But back to motorsports. Everything you guys talk about. I just love it all. I have a great time hearing you guys. I made it to the Roar. I only saw the qualifying race, but I was there.
Awesome.
And I enjoyed that. I had intended on seeing the new NASCAR car and just to give it a look, but it wasn't on my priority list. So I missed that. I heard you guys just speaking on it.
It's nice. You'll like
Corvettes
it.
are still moving. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you'll like it, and it's
Yeah.
a great 500 if you get to see the highlights. So have you seen any of the new cars in Formula One? What do you think of those lines on the new 22 cars?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I'm really liking the fronts. We call them spoilers. They call them wings, but I'm glad they kind of toned it down again. It got to where it was so multi-stacked,
I agree.
And I like the narrow side of the rear spoiler. I still like the Cannon that Nigel drove. That was just a great looking car to me. But the liveries are coming around with colors. The Alpha Tour I'm kind of liking.
Yeah.
And
Good-looking
I
car.
really like the Ferrari looks good, but most times it does anyway. The Mercedes is settling in, but I'm still leaning towards old Red Bull still.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
I love the fact that all these cars look different. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
because think about what that means too. We don't know, we may get a little order shaken up here, a little, not so much Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari at the top every time.
Well, so I heard something
Radio.
interesting today is that what we are seeing during this reveal, they can still make adjustments
Oh, yeah.
between
Yeah. Oh,
now
yeah,
and the
yeah,
first
yeah.
race,
Yeah.
and that one of the groups I was listening to online was talking about, this might be a shell game that somebody's putting out one image to kind of throw somebody off. I don't think they'd go too far in that game, but that would be interesting. We'll have to pay attention to see how much the livery reveals match.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
will
The
be fun
first
to
race.
watch.
I
Yeah.
mentioned it last week, but this year reminds me of how it traditionally used to be, which would you take a look at the enemy, you look at the opposition and what they had, and then you'd not go back to the drawing board, but you'd say, we didn't think of that. And
You might make a
that's-
tweak.
You
Yeah.
might make a tweak as the season goes on, because as Hamilton said, and as also Carlos, I think Verstappen said. I think it was Charles Leclerc who said, the Ferrari, I'm a bit worried about seeing certain ways in street circuits. And I was like, that's an interesting comment when he's never driven the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Binotto was talking about the lines and was in a beautiful car. And he's like, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. And these are the things that until you hit the fight, you don't know.
Ray on YouTube says, is the Ferrari red more dark than years past?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And that's because it's the 75th year, and it's
Yep.
also to go with the black that they've sort of brought in on both the overalls and on the car. So this is a sort of homage to the 75 years of Ferrari. So nice
Good catch, yeah.
Good catch, and that's exactly why it's dark red rather than the bright red that we've seen. And I think the bright red was more to do with the fact that when Shell came on board, that there was almost a pinging of the colors to make sure that that their colors would work as well.
Yeah. We want to thank Corvette Mike for calling in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, Mike. If you do want to call, the number's 512-643-LIVE. So let's talk Andretti Formula One team. Doesn't it have a nice ring to it?
Yeah, and I'm so happy. Mario isn't getting any younger, and I do think that what he's been as an ambassador to motorsport, to Formula One, to the Circuit of the Americas, to his family, and to American motorsport, full stop. And as an Italian that came here back in the day, to see him on a pit wall, standing there with his son and his family, all involved in motorsport at the pinnacle, that is a fitting way for Mario eventually to hang it all up,
And so to clarify, they're talking about calling it Andretti Global.
Yes.
And so a little bit of delineation or difference there. So, but that's going to be great. I'm curious to see how it actually plays out. There's a lot of discussion about the messaging of the Twitter. Why don't you talk about that, John?
Well, let's read the tweet, actually. Mario Andretti says, Michael has applied to the FIA to field a new F1 team starting in 2024. His entry, Andretti Global, has the resources and checks every box. He's awaiting the FIA's determination. And what was the greatest thing about this tweet is just that it literally came out of nowhere on a Friday afternoon, almost like, you slide in news on a Friday so nobody notices it. It's like, wait a minute, hang on a minute.
I did think that was interesting. It's not, with all due respect, I know the family of Andretti's stick pretty close together and it's a family affair, but at the same time, it's Michael's company, it's Michael's business. But I think Daddy, I think that was thought out. And what I mean by that is determination by the FIA. It's like Fangio calling up and going, hey, I got a team coming from Argentina. So you're not going to refuse the mighty. It's like I said it at the Indy 500 when Mario kissed Castro Neves. It's like the Pope, He's got the blessing of the Pope. You did it 4 times.
It does feel like that.
It does. And, I think you're right. You think about the audience of Mario Andretti. That truly is a global audience, way beyond Michael. And Michael's no slouch, but it is so far beyond Michael. I really think that was a strategic.
A great example of that is I looked on a couple of the European websites, just checking out this story. And one of them it almost had the tone of, okay, another American team is going to try to do this.
Yeah, this is cute.
And then they said, but.
You're not going to get that chip off your shoulder, are you?
but he said, but this was. This news came from Mario Andretti.
Yeah.
In other words, this is Mario. This is not just a rumor.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And you're absolutely right in terms of his kudos within Formula One compared, let's say, to Michael, who didn't have the greatest of Formula One times. And frankly, out of sight is out of mind. And I know exactly what you mean. The Europeans, are very passionate about European racing. Sure. And there's no question that Formula One is very much that way. But I think, and I know that they've got, a base with their Formula E team in England. I think they will definitely have a base here, very similar to Haas's setup.
We were talking about that the other day. I think absolutely they're gonna have a base in the UK, of course. They have to, and that doesn't make it not an American team.
Can I throw this one down? On February 20th,
okay,
Roger Penske's birthday. Will this prick the captain into action for himself to get back into Formula One?
That is a really good point. You guys remember the day that he purchased the Speedway?
Yeah.
He said, when we also want to have Formula One here.
Mm-hmm.
Almost fell out of my chair when he said that day.
Well,
years ago.
and as you know, like Andretti, Penske is one of the only teams that, like Andretti, is worldwide in its influence from Australia to World Rallycross and all the rest of it, as Andretti has been. But Penske's pretty much got a finger in a lot of pies too, including Indy. And I do think, as we talk about OEMs and the expansion of Indy, could Andretti be bringing a new engine?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
That would work for both?
Well,
Indy and F1. Now, You mean engine supplier?
Well, they've got Honda right now.
Right. Well, the engines obviously wouldn't work. The same engine.
No.
Yeah.
But
yeah. the same supplier.
I'm thinking of a completely off-the-wall new manufacturer, new OEM in Indy. They've been looking for one. They've been talking about one, and they've said, oh. And I wonder if they could tie this to potentially.
Wow.
Just as McLaren are in Indy and in Formula One. And it could work with two different engines. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
But my point is, this is the way these guys think. They do think 10 years ahead.
All right. Well, we're going to go to break and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the rumors of engine suppliers. And we're also going to talk a little bit more because there was some there was more than just his tweet. There was an article in Racer and an article in the Indy Star that Mario was interviewed. So we'll talk about that. You listen to Speed City live from Austin, back after these messages.
Hey, this is Kurt Busch. You're listening to Speed City Radio.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
All right, we got more to talk about, but we're going to finish up this Andretti F1 rumor / not rumor. It's not a rumor because Mario said it. That means it's happening.
Hey.
But the rumors are that Renault will be the engine supplier. Now that is right now, that is purely a rumor. I hate to even talk about it, but at this point, everybody's going to be speculating.
There's enough weight to it.
Yeah, and there was a photograph, apparently, of Michael and an executive from Renault together like a month ago or something, and I lost it. I found it earlier, but I've lost it now. But
I've got it here. Mario Andretti tells his son Michael is at an advanced stage of creating his new team. The engine deal is said to be ready, and there is a plan for a brand new factory in Indianapolis. Now, it's interesting you mentioned...
But they didn't say Renault.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
But I find it interesting because Renault currently don't sell Renault cars in the United States.
Yeah.
And it is an area, having known Renault and Alpine for a while and some of the guys there.
So you're saying they're going to start selling cars here?
But it's, I mean, not being funny, but if you were based in Paris right now or in England, Renault, is one of the oldest manufacturers of cars and is global, but except for really North America.
Yeah. We haven't had a Renault here since what, 1980? Something like that.
That's about right. Le Car?
Yeah.
When you think of Peugeot and Renault, they're not as global as your Mercedes and your Ferraris and so on, and they're a different type of manufacturer, but they fit right in. And who says the Koreans won't come in? Kia.
As long as Renault brings that RS1 stateside and puts a handful of them around Austin, I'm okay with that.
Because the Renaults that I knew, they were the POS models.
The Dauphine was what was in our family.
So it says here, which engine supplier is involved? Andretti does not want to tell yet. Currently, Mercedes is its maximum number. Ferrari, Red Bull, Renault remain. Andretti's partner would be Dan Totris and the CEO Group of 1001. Group 1001 is an Indiana-based company.
And if you keep digging, then you might end up with the Cambridge money that you've been talking.
The Cambridge.
Excuse me, Cambridge money that you
not Cambridge.
Sorry, the Cambridge money you've been talking about for months. Yeah. What were you going to say, Les?
I was going to say, well, Renault's not the only one. Red Bull is talking with Porsche, who was involved in the power unit specification development a couple of years ago, and working through that. Porsche has said that they'll be ready with their own power unit in 26 for this, and they are closely aligned with Red Bull, and the rumors are that those two are going to wind up together.
I do want to play one clip that we have of Michael Andretti. Let me see if I can point the producer to this one, because this one was the clip that that Michael talked about, where he producer. This is the one that says Andretti attempt with Colton Herta, but at the end of the clip, they said basically we're not done here. So let's play this clip with Michael Andretti.
Don't believe the rumors or what you were hearing about, why it didn't happen. Had nothing to do with financials or anything like that. It was more having to do with control issues. And unfortunately, at the 11th hour, control issues changed, and it was a deal that we had to step away from because we couldn't accept it. And I always said that we're only going to do it if it's right for us. And in the end, it wasn't right for us. If we ever do get a team, he would lead the, way for us in terms of wanting to bring an American driver. He'd be the perfect guy to do it and so, yeah, I mean, we definitely were going to try to get him into the seat because I believe he could be a competitive driver in Europe. I really do. There's no reason why he wouldn't. I mean, I think they would like it, obviously, because they're really pushing the American market, but they weren't doing anything to, help us. It's been a huge story. It's a shame it didn't work out, but I don't give up.
That's what I played that for. And if you were watching on YouTube or Facebook, you saw the little twinkle in his eye and the way his mouth turned up and said, "We don't give up." In other words, I'm not stopping, and you're not going to stop me. But yeah, sorry, I didn't set that clip up really good. That was right after the Sauber deal fell through. So
right. So I remember first USGP here, Mario Andretti said, "We got the track. Next is a team, and then we want a driver." Well, that's interesting because that was brought up yesterday or maybe even today in one of the forums I was looking at. And they were basically discrediting Haas with being an American team anymore. Saying, where's our American drivers? Where's our American sponsors? Why is there a Russian flag and big Russian name on the team anymore? Well, you know why? Because that's paying the bills and keeping it on track.
Money's money,
to be
baby.
honest. Do we have any drivers? Well, he's kind of tied to Andretti at the moment. And so, I quite honestly think Andretti's going to be received pretty well, especially if he comes in with Colton in the seat.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about Colton Herta the other day, Jonathan. We also, American drivers, if you don't include Kyle Kirkwood in that discussion.
Yeah.
The way what was he at the Indy? He was faster than Scott Dixon?
Faster than Scott Dixon. Watch out for Kyle Kirkwood. I'll lay down another one. Kyle Kirkwood this year, St. Pete next weekend. Watch him.
I mean, the fact that this kid and young man now has just
he's awesome.
Obliterated every series that he's been in, you'd have to have him at least on the radar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, Colton Herta, obviously, you have, there's that discussion has already happened, but you got to keep other people in mind too. All right, gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic. We have some stories. Why don't we talk about the launches next? Let's talk about AlphaTauri. And first of all, you touched on it, Jonathan, a while ago about the way you like the look of it. What about you, Les, the new AlphaTauri?
I do like it. One, I think just all the graphics, the way they're playing out, the car looks slimmer and not as bubbly.
Yeah.
I do like the slimmer car. I think that's helping everybody's, to be honest.
Yeah, I like the lines. I like all the lines on all the cars, but I think AlphaTauri, I just really think that the way they've designed the car, there was a great little. We might even get to it tonight, but there was a great little sort of fashion meets Formula One, because obviously AlphaTauri is their
that's right.
They're effectively their title sponsor, which is a fashion company in Italy. I think you'll like the look of it. They've always had that nice blue and white that we saw last year, and I think they're continuing that. But this is a much prettier car than they've had. And that goes for all the ones I've seen launched this year. I'm really, really impressed with the way they've taken the new rules and made the lines so futuristic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing that I will say was not accurate, and it can't be accurate, was this rear wing that's on it. There's no DRS. And at least if it is, it's extremely well hidden in AlphaTauri's images.
I just hope these cars really are, like we were saying earlier, as close to. I hope they look like this because they look great. They look like something a 10-year-old kid would just love and have a model of and run around and play with it. I mean, they look cool. They don't look like,
and they look fast.
The 10-year-old.
Yeah, and they do look fast. That's true. I think that's what I'm saying in essence.
Yeah, and all the drivers, I looked at all the reaction to all the drivers at all the launches, and everyone to a man said, I hope it's fast, but it looks great.
AlphaTauri particularly looks very fluid and very smooth. Shaped by water or wind kind of thing.
Yeah,
I really
exactly,
like that.
Yeah. And by the way, look at the performance at the end of last year. For Gasly particularly, Tsunoda only in his first year And as you all well know, Red Bull have a huge stable of very hungry horses, and I'm talking drivers here, who are like Liam Lawson, getting a chance to test the car. I think he did 600 kilometers. He is going to do Formula 2 this season, and there's a lot of drivers, as there always is for the Red Bull Junior team, looking for those seats. But right now, I think they're pretty safe. Gasly's looking good. Tsunoda needs a stronger year, but I think he'll have one. But we'll see. Watch this space, because that one drive at AlphaTauri is going to be a possible potential for next year.
All right, we got
the year after next.
Yeah, we got one more AlphaTauri. We're going to play this. It's a video, and there's not a whole lot for audio listeners here, but it's just a short one. We'll play this real quick. Let's see this AlphaTauri video.
That they want them to succeed, because the more they succeed and the more they borrow off Red Bull, who are now world champion winning team again, I think we're going to see them become a strong McLaren opponent. Ferrari opponent, more so than they have been. And I think, I hope it continues from what we saw last year. And the same goes for Alfa Romeo, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah. I agree with that completely. It was fun to watch last year. Watching Gasly after, getting dropped and from the Red Bull team, that was cool. All right, gentlemen, let's get a quick break in. This is our last break. We'll get that, and we'll continue our discussion. We'll talk a little NASCAR, too, in the next break. You're listening to Speed City live from Austin, back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Jenny Gow from BBC F1. You are listening to Speed City.
Welcome back to the fastest hour in radio, Speed City.
Email you can read.
All right. Welcome back to the show. And I want to talk about something you dropped in our show, Doc Jonathan, about Hamilton. I played off the whole issue of last year very well.
Yeah, he's obviously, with the launches, he's back in front of the public eye, and he has been off the radar, which is very rare in Formula One. And it's funny, I talked to one of my friends in New Zealand, Murray Taylor, an ex Formula 3 team manager, and we both agreed that the way that Hamilton has played this, I'm keeping out of this. I'm not, I'm taking a break from social media. We don't know how he felt about it because he's not discussed it. Obviously, he was crestfallen, bewildered. He was on. He was one lap away from making greatest history ever in Formula One. Think about that.
Yeah.
So,
surpassing Michael Schumacher.
I mean, imagine if you are Carl Lewis and they say you can't run the 100 meters this time, and you're about to do make all the records as he did.
Somebody ran out before you crossed the finish line. And said, no,
sorry,
not now.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. Sorry, you can't. No, those trunks aren't working for me. So you can't get in the pool. But you know what I'm saying. So he was that close to sort of absolute legendary status. Not that he isn't going to get there. But I think that by being off the radar, by avoiding what Toto Wolff did, which was to basically throw his toys out the cot in front of all the media, the FIA, Formula One, which, to be fair, is his job with 700, employees that have worked their butts off to try to get them there. They were robbed of a championship. That's the fact, right? They were robbed of a championship. Wrong or right, Massey's gone. They've sorted it all out, and Hamilton's talking again. And he basically said in a thing I read in the Statesman today that wasn't the legacy he wanted to leave Formula One with, and he doesn't want to have regrets. He doesn't want to be negative, and he's always said that. This is consistent with the way he's gone about his sport, and my admiration for his status has gone up. I thought I'd be a big George Russell fan this year, but actually Hamilton's just proved that he's not only an unbelievable talent, he's a fantastic sportsman. It takes some guts to do what he's done.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
Hey, on the note about Massey and the rules and all of that, FIA is making some tweaks. In fact, they're going to make some further tweaks before the first race involving the safety car and the restarts and things like that. So that process is already under scrutiny, as we expected it. But they're going to firm up and make some adjustments regarding how that's going to roll out, with specifically keeping in mind we want to finish a race at speed, and also how to expedite getting back to green light conditions after such a scenario. So
Yeah.
news to come on that, but I like that they did put it out that we're not through with this. We're still reviewing it before the first race.
Am I allowed to go? Am I allowed to rewind?
Absolutely.
Andretti Autosport.
That's pretty good.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Andretti Autosport, Formula E. Guess who their engine partner is? I know it's electric. BMW.
Huh. Okay.
Who've had a presence, if you remember, with Williams not so long ago.
Yeah, that's true.
In Formula
And
One.
Sauber.
Yes.
Sauber,
there you
what, 99?
And in my driveway.
Oh, you had to throw that in. Yeah, we've all got two in the driveway. Yeah.
Just because it has 300,000 miles doesn't.
What color was the Porsche you were getting me?
It's kind of a charred.
And we've talked all about this story, but I'm assuming if you're listening to the show, you heard about this cargo ship carrying all these Porsches.
1,100 plus.
Oh, caught fire. And well, I never heard the end. Yeah, I never heard the end result. I mean, did it sink? Are they toast?
It's on
You know?
fire, adrift. Was the
my
last thing I
gosh.
heard, the freshest story I saw this morning. But kind of begs to wonder because in 2019, the Grande America had the same fate, loaded with Volkswagen family brand products and specifically a bunch of GT3s.
Oh, yeah, that's where it hurts.
And so there was suspicion of really in 3 years it happens twice with a whole as many as 4,000 automobiles on board. Crispy, you
What was
might
that?
say.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball. Let's talk NASCAR.
Okay, then.
Okay, only left though.
Boogity, boogity, boogity.
The Daytona 500 finished up. I was watching it right as I was walking out the door to come to the studio, and a heck of a finish, man.
How about having the smoke involved? It's pretty funny.
I know.
They gave him a bunch of poor Blaney was giving him a hard time. Did you see the kids?
Yeah,
That was
it
fun.
was awesome.
They had
Well,
all the kids.
Well, Austin Cindric, his first Cup win ever is the Daytona 500.
Oh, I know. It's like McDowell last year. I mean, it's a great story, and it could have been any of them. I mean,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
ridiculous.
It could have been Bubba Wallace. very
Yeah, he
easily.
was that
He
close.
finished second, right? Yeah, he was second.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
loving it.
And at one point, right when they were in the timeout, there were 25 cars involved. 25 out of 40 cars were involved in a wreck.
And nice segue, a Formula One world champion still in the running at the end of the race, Mr. Jack Villeneuve. Sorry,
That's all right.
you said the word you said the word NASCAR. That just gets him all excited. Oh no, you said Bubba Wallace. That's what it was.
Oh, there you go.
Doggy jumped in my lap.
Doggy, 60 pounds worth.
I did like having Tony Stewart in the booth. I put that in my notes, actually, because
They were a good combination.
yeah.
And
but it's-
Danica's going to do some.
But don't you think that Tony Stewart on national, free to air television, it doesn't really work because we know Tony and he's not saying everything he normally he probably has to stop and go, wait, I can't say that. Well,
Can't
no,
say that.
Can't say that. Can't say
I'm
that
just
either.
thinking the producer's sitting there with the finger on the
Yeah.
button.
I thought, when I first saw him, I thought it was going to be a new series of Sopranos, the way he came in on that grey suit and hair back and
Yeah.
slick back.
Oh, man.
Well, I'm looking forward to NASCAR.
I'm waiting on
coming to
Prius
Austin,
to
too.
sponsor something that Tony has to commentate on.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
No electric.
Hey, one last thing. Austin Cindric, he's a rookie. And
Great story.
But he's got an automatic entry into the playoffs now for winning the Daytona 500 too.
Exactly. Did you hear the story about Noah Gragson too?
No.
Noah Gragson was in that last pileup at the end there, and he was still running. It's a one-man team, quite literally. It was,
What?
yeah.
That's crazy talk.
I can't remember the name. Yes, a lady called Beard, and her husband ran cars, but he passed away. So she continued the team, brought in Noah Gragson, his first run in the Cup Series. They were still running towards the end, but they got tied in. But there was literally one full-time mechanic working on the car. That is unheard of in this day and age. So hats off to that team.
Oh, somebody just talked to us on YouTube. Says Matt Ferrara had a special order 718 on that cargo ship, and the dealer had called him and told him, "Don't you know he's taking that phone call, going, stop messing with me.
Yeah,
You're messing
Who
with
is
me."
this?
Yeah.
So Matt Farrar, if you don't know, you've probably seen his videos pop up. He's the smoking tire guy,
Yeah.
or the one take that takes out private individuals' cars out through Angeles Crest Highway and through there.
He's the
That's a fun
smoking
series.
Porsche show now.
Your tires are smoking under 718.
Yeah, but not how you normally like to do it.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Let's see what we got here. We're going to save the other launches for next week because we don't have enough to really get into those. But there's a couple other stories that I definitely want to talk about. I like this one. F1 Esports, that a record-breaking viewership deal.
Oh my gosh, this is exploding, and I think it's really, really amazing in what it's going. They went up 47% since 2020.
Oh yeah, well,
that is monstrous.
What was it? Oh yeah, the pandemic.
Yeah.
That helped out a lot of viewership. I watched things I didn't care about before the pandemic.
I don't want to hear a blip about COVID from you.
Okay,
great.
Fair
now
enough.
We just got kicked out.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But no, that is, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the talk about the inflation, the car industry has a lot to do with it because of the lack of chips and therefore the cost of the cars, et cetera, et cetera. It's been a huge reason for inflationary measures just in the auto industry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Car prices. Yeah, it's a whole nother show, man. It's
oh my
insane.
Gosh. Yeah. You know what? I drove to the studio. I got a call yesterday asking somebody that knew I had it, asking to buy it. And I go, I can't replace it for a reasonable cost.
Yeah.
No.
Because you bought it 2 years ago, which means it's triple in value.
Yeah.
Hey, Les, what about Netflix coming up, season 4? I've been watching. I've been watching several episodes.
If you haven't got into this yet, you got to.
I say rewatching, obviously, but yeah. When's the date?
March 11.
Nice.
March 11.
A week,
so it's
before the first race, and also the second test. Segue.
This week coming up.
They're racing Segways.
Yes,
Formula
they're
1.
racing Segways. No, he went off a cliff.
Formula 1 testing in Barcelona.
On Segways.
Awesome. On Segways.
No. The official testing in Barcelona kicks off for Formula 1 fans. It's behind closed doors. It's almost like a shakedown. And when I say it's behind closed doors, the media will be there, or at least written media. Written media will be there. So look out for our friend Mr. Medland on racer.com because he will be there. And likewise, Bahrain will be the week before the first race in Bahrain, which is the 18th, 19th, and 20th of March. So mark your calendars. Netflix, followed by the test results, followed by Speed City.
There you go.
Yeah, buddy.
And what the heck, I'm going to say it. If all goes well, we might have someone there at Bahrain.
Yeah.
Oh, no! Oh, mayhem!
No, we're not sending him.
No.
Yeah, that could be trouble.
Mayhem even. How long we got left?
We're down to a minute. What do you got?
I've got a good story. A little known story, but I know one man has been watching it. I just want to shout out to our own Mr. Massengale for bringing into the world one of McLaren's up-and-coming mechanics. New Zealand woke up to the sound of being champions again. Your son involved. Reagan, take your hat off to the youngster.
He's Reagan's mechanic for the Inception team, and they run a McLaren 720S GT3, and they won the championship in the Asian.
I'll take a McLaren instead of a Porsche.
Yeah, so he flew to Dubai, raced 2 races there, and then they went down to Abu Dhabi, 2 races there, and they won the championship. And proud daddy.
He's going to walk so tall in your house
I watched
now.
every minute. It's they came on in the middle of the morning, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I watched every minute.
Okay,
and I've never
Reagan's
been so glued.
awesome, but I'm going to say one other thing on it. What was this? 8 years ago, you and I were out under the car lift at your car barn, and Reagan comes out to ask you a question about something, doesn't look twice at the car above him, and walks out.
I know. He got the car bug late. You can thank the Nissan GTR R32 that got him going. All right, we're out of time.
Yeah,
thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Bobby Epstein, and congratulations. Thanks for coming on. And check us out next Sunday night. Thank you for tuning in.
Ciao,
Happy trails.